What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night, Kape versus Almabayev. Pretty decent card this weekend, fellas, but there are some matchups that are a little bit sketchy to do picks on. But I'm looking forward to having another successful weekend, hopefully. The last 3 weeks, we have been absolutely beasting these cards. Last weekend, we were one fight off of completely sweeping the entire card. If Andre Fili didn't stick his head in that guillotine like an absolute mongoloid, we would have swept the entire card. I gave you guys some great underdogs last weekend in Ricky Simone, Iwan Kutelaba, and Rob Font. Hopefully we keep the momentum rolling, fellas, into this card. Let's jump right in. If you're new, subscribe, please. Thank you. Kicking us off at women's flyweight. Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. Guys, I'm going with Luana Carolina here. I think she's just better on the feet than Montana De La Rosa. I don't think De La Rosa is very good. Her striking is bad. Her grappling is okay if she can get it going. I don't think she will, though. Luana Carolina's pretty physical. She's pretty strong. She's got very weird striking, and I just don't see Montana De La Rosa working her way into any kind of grappling success, really. And even if she does, I think Luana Carolina can keep herself at least relatively safe. This is a volatile fight, though. There's a lot of these on this card where fights are just very volatile. I'm just unsure of how this one plays out. I think Luana Carolina, though, is the side. I think she's just got better stand-up. I think she can keep herself safe in the grappling. And I think Luana Carolina, generally speaking, has fought better competition and looked better against better ladies, in my opinion. Montana De La Rosa is coming off of a win over Andrea Lee. I don't care. Lost to JJ Aldrich. Not the worst loss in the world, but not great. Tatiana Suarez, understandable. And Macy Barber, understandable. And she hasn't had a win since 2021. Luana Carolina, on the other hand, is on a 3-fight win streak. Beat Pudilova easily. Knocked out Stoliarenko and beat Ivana Petrovich. These are decent wins. Losing to Joanne Wood, I don't love. And losing to Molly McCann via that spinning back elbow. You know, kind of high volatility on that finish. I don't think it's something that Molly McCann really replicates if they fight a bunch. I'm just going to go with Luana Carolina. I think she's a bit better on the feet. I think she can keep herself safe in the grappling. Moving up to men's flyweight, Charles Johnson is taking on Ramazan Timarov. Oh, okay, the line's flipped on this. This video's out late. I'm sorry this video's out so late. Normally, I like to record these on like Monday and get them out on Tuesday. This video I'm recording on Wednesday, and I'm hopefully going to get this one out on Wednesday. But I was thinking about picking Charles Johnson as an underdog because he was an underdog for a long time to Ramazan Timarov, but now he's a slight favorite. I am picking Charles Johnson. I think Ramazan Timarov is good, but I don't think he should have been the favorite in this matchup at all. He's got really good knockout power, which is something you don't see at flyweight. I know a lot of people could lobby like criticisms like, oh, he's a cane crusher. It's like, yeah, he is. A lot of the guys he's fought are bums. But my thing is, you know, it's hard to knock out a bunch of bums in a row. It actually is, especially at flyweight. To have the power to just put these guys out cold is pretty impressive. Obviously, these guys suck. Even CJ Vergara sucks. This is by far and away the biggest step up in competition he's had. Charles Johnson's been on a pretty good run lately. And his last fight, close fight with Sumudarji. Arguably could have lost that fight, to be honest. Sumudarji did surprise me in this fight, though. He looked better than I think he typically ever has. If I remember correctly, his grappling looked much improved in this matchup, Sumudarji. And Sumudarji's always been pretty dangerous on the feet. Then he gets the finish over Joshua Van in a really good performance. Beats Jake Hadley, who's decent. Fraud checks Azat Maxim. Good win. Lost to Estevam. Not the worst loss in the world. As far as Timarov goes, he's basically, in my opinion, like rounds 1 or 2 TKO or bust. I don't see him beating Charles Johnson if this goes 3 rounds. Charles Johnson's very good. He's very well rounded. He's got a great pace. He's got good cardio. He's got good striking. And he's just the much bigger guy, man. That's kind of my problem here with Timarov. I think he throws a lot of looping shots, Timarov. I think he's going to struggle to get inside and land shots on a Charles Johnson who's 5 inches taller and has a 7-inch reach advantage. Could he do it? Yes. Would it put Johnson out? I'm not so sure. Um, I just think, I've seen Timurov outside of, the first couple of rounds, and he does slow down, is my problem. If he doesn't get Charles Johnson out of there relatively early, I just think Charles Johnson can run away with it, in my opinion. Um, just with his pressure and his cardio, I think it's too much. Um, I think Charles Johnson gets another win here. I'm gonna say probably by decision. Timorov's a tough guy. I think he's gonna hang tough probably for all 3 rounds, but I think Charles Johnson can survive the early storm of Timurov, not get hit by the looping shots, kind of keep his range using that 7-inch reach advantage, and keep himself safe and get himself a decision here. But we'll see though. Timurov is very powerful. He's very explosive. It's a winnable matchup for him because Charles Johnson at times can be a little bit hittable. So we'll see. I'm excited for this fight. And here's a fight I'm not excited for. Moving up to women's flyweight, Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. I'm gonna go with JJ Aldrich. Andrea Lee hasn't won a fight in years and years and years. When's the last time Andrea Lee won a fight? Holy fuck. 2021 against Cynthia Calvillo. Is that a 5-fight loss streak? Granted, these losses aren't so bad. Arawaho's good, Barber's good, Silva's good, Maverick's alright, and De La Rosa's terrible. But I'm just gonna go with JJ Aldrich, man. I just think in her career right now, she's got a little bit of momentum. I know she lost to Veronica Hardy, but she's not 0-5 in her last 5. And then she lost to the Blanchfield de Silva, and Veronica Hardy's pretty decent. I think I'm just gonna go with JJ Aldrich here. Andrea Lee is fucking old. She hasn't won a fight in fucking 4 years. She's 0-5 in her last 5. She hasn't looked great. Her last fight against Montana De La Rosa was relatively close, but I think De La Rosa is fucking terrible. And JJ Aldrich is, I don't want to say she's good, but she's like kind of well-rounded. She's aight. You know what I mean? I think being aight at 32 right now in your prime, I think it's good enough to beat Andrea Lee right now, who's definitely on the downswing in her career. I'm going to go with JJ Aldrich, probably like a decision, probably like a 29-28 or a split decision. Fights like this, they just scream split decision to me. But yeah, I'm going to go with JJ Aldrich by decision. I think she's just a little bit better overall at this point in her career, and she'll bounce back. Moving up to featherweight, Danny Silva and Lucas Almeida. I want to check something really quick. Because I have opinions that people might not like. Guys, I'm going with Lucas Almeida over Danny Silva, I think, as a plus 180 dog. I don't think Danny Silva's that good. If I remember this fight against Josh Kulibau correctly, I kind of thought Josh Kulibau should have won this fight. Am I crazy? Can I look at the stats on this? Obviously, the stats don't tell you everything, but... I mean, he's getting handedly outstruck by Josh Kulibau. I think... Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Lucas Almeida, dude. Because outside of this loss to Andre Fili, I don't love. Because Fili has been a generational salesman lately. Pat Sabatini, he got out-grappled by Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini's elite on the ground. He's very good. Not shocked by that. This win over Timothy Kawamba, I think, was really good. I think he looked really fucking good in this fight. And Timothy Kawamba had a pretty good debut against a pretty tough guy up a weight class. So I thought he would get a win over Lucas Almeida. But Almeida looked good. I've lobbied criticism in Almeida before for looking really stiff on the feet, but he looked pretty switched on in this matchup. And he looked damn good for the first couple of rounds. Gave up position at the end of the third, but by that point, it didn't really matter. The reason I'm picking him over Danny Silva is I think there are moments where a Danny Silva can be caught on the feet. And Almeida's got nice Muay Thai. He's got good kicks. He's got good hands. Like I said, he is a little bit stiff, and his big weakness is the grappling. But Danny Silva ain't Pat Sabatini, bro. Yeah, he outgrappled Josh Cooleybow a little bit. I think Lucas Almeida is a harder guy to grapple than a Josh Cooleybow. Um, and I just don't like this line, if I'm being honest. I don't know what he's done to be minus 220 over Lucas Almeida. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't love his performance on the Contender Series against Pacheco. Like, Pacheco fucking sucks. Angel Pacheco's bad. You know what I mean? Uh, I just, like, I feel like he should have got Pacheco out of there. You know what I mean? Cooleybow split decision. Uh, I just, I don't see where we're getting 220. So I'm going with Lucas Almeida. He's got great power. He looked good in his last fight against a pretty skilled guy. Um, he's got good, solid Muay Thai. I think he can defend initial takedowns from Danny Silva. And although Lucas Almeida is pretty hittable, I mean, it's been 2 years since fucking Danny Silva's KO'd a guy, and he's never KO'd a decent level opponent. So I just feel like I'm going with Lucas Almeida. I think I'm gonna go with Lucas Almeida. Oh, I think he TKOs Danny Silva. I think he finds a shot on the feet and cashes as a plus 180 dog. I've had a feeling about this fight ever since I looked at it, and I've just never thought that much of Danny Silva. I thought Josh Cooleybow would beat him. I Maybe he's just one of these guys who I'm just gonna fade over and over again until he shows me something that I'm like, okay, this guy's actually really good. This could be a performance where he does that and he looks really good. But right now, I just don't like this line. I don't think he should be this big of a favorite. I think Lucas Almeida's got good variables to win this matchup, so I'm picking him to win. Moving up to bantamweight, Douglas Silva de Andrade is taking on John Castaneda. Here's another fight where I'm just kind of like, I don't like it. Um, I want to go with John Castaneda because logic is telling me that that's probably the most intelligent pick here. But I don't like him being minus 300 over Douglas Silva de Andrade because this guy is a mutant freak of muscle and explosivity and throws shots to kill you when he does commit. So I worry that could happen to John Castaneda. But skill for skill, I think John Castaneda is just better. He's pretty well rounded. I think John Castaneda is the side here. Douglas Silva de Andrade did not look good in his last performance against Miles Johns. And if you want to apply some fucking MMA math, John Castaneda, I believe, has a submission win over Miles Johns, which honestly, all things considered, this is aging quite good. The win over Muin Gafarov, also, I can't believe I'm saying this, is aging quite well. Kang, okay win. Losing to Daniel Marcos, I mean, you know, uh, I can't really blame you for that. Daniel Santos is fucking good too. So I just have a problem with just the potential of him getting chinned because he can be chinned. And Douglas Silva de Andrade can chin you. But I think more often than not, if they fight 10 times, if this fight gets ran 10 times, I think probably like 6.5 or 7 out of 10 times, John Castaneda just is a little bit more skillful over 3 rounds and wins himself a decision. So I got to pick him. I'm going to go with John Castaneda by decision. I think he's a little bit better on the feet. He puts more out there. He He's a little bit safer defensively than a Douglas Silva de Andrade, but I think Silva de Andrade is much more durable. But he was kind of getting hurt in that Miles Johns fight, which isn't something you typically see Silva de Andrade get wobbled, kind of get stunned a little bit. And I think John Castaneda also, I don't know, he's got a good takedown, but I don't know if he's really going to be able to get it with any kind of regularity just because I can't say his name. Douglas Silva de Andrade is so physical and so strong. Maybe as the fight starts to go a little longer in like rounds 2 and 3, maybe he can start to get that takedown a little bit more. But I'm going to trust John Castaneda to keep himself safe here in this matchup. And win a decision here. Maybe 29-28. Maybe it gets a little bit hairy at one point. I could see it happening because Dan Andrade is very dangerous. But I'm going to go with John Castaneda. Moving up to men's featherweight, Ricardo Ramos taking on Chepe Mariscal. Guys, I'm going with Chepe. I can break this down very simply. Ricardo Ramos is a guy who will quit in a fight, and Chepe Mariscal is a guy who would fight for 15 rounds until one of either him or his opponent dies. Chepe Mariscal is a fucking dog. No quit in him. Good striking, good grappling, good ground and pound, good cardio, good pace. He just puts it on guys. And Ricardo Ramos is the kind of guy where if you put a nasty pace on him and you're just on his ass from minute 1 to minute 15, he'll quit. He will. He's also fucking stupid. He's got some of the lowest fight IQ I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to be honest. Stuffing your head in a Julian Erosa guillotine, I think is a bit stupid. And then once again, another Josh Culibao split decision win. Josh Culibao somehow was able to have a lower fight IQ than Ricardo Ramos. He was beating the absolute dog shit out of Ricardo Ramos. And he threw the fight. Genuinely, I'm not entirely convinced it wasn't a fucking rigged fight. That's how fucking stupid Josh Culibao looked in this fight. Easiest layup win of his career. God, that fight pissed me off to watch live. I don't even want to talk about it. Got subbed by Charles Jourdain, but Jourdain's really good. I like Jourdain. Danny Chavez fucking sucks. Zubaira Tukhugov, it's okay. And Chepe Mariscal's just been on a fucking run lately, dude. He's just been dismantling people. You know, beat the shit out of Trevor Peek and his UFC debut. Pretty free and easy. Got the TK over Jack Jenkins, but kind of a fluky arm injury. But he did technically cause it. You know, he forced Jack Jenkins to post and hurt his arm. So, I guess you can be like, that's a good win. Morgan Charrier, that's a good fucking win to have. Close fight, but Charrier is really quite good. So, it's a good win to have. And the licking he put on Damon Jackson, I gotta pull up the stats for this one. He beat the fucking shit out of Damon Jackson. 30-25, 30-25, and 30-26. He whipped his ass, dude. And I can kind of see this fight going similarly. If Ricardo Ramos starts to slow down even a little bit, Chepe Mariscal is going to get on his ass. Ricardo Ramos has decent submissions, but he's kind of dumb. He's one of these guys I feel like if he gets taken down, he likes to play guard off of his back, which is stupid to do against the Chepe Mariscal, who's defensively pretty responsible against the submission and throws non-stop ground and pound. I'm going to go with Chepe Mariscal here. I think he's going to get like a late round TKO over Ricardo Ramos. Like a late round 2, maybe round 3. Just Ricardo Ramos starts to kind of... Chepe is going to show him the door, and I think Ricardo Ramos is going to exit stage left. You know what I mean? Ricardo Ramos is dangerous, though. He's got some nice spinning attacks. Got okay stand-up, but he leaves a lot of openings. But I just think Chepe... When you have a guy who just has no quit in him, I have a hard time not picking him. I think this line's a bit wide, though. I think Chepe should probably be like minus 300 tops here. Minus 500 over a guy who's very volatile in how he fights, and Ricardo Ramos is a little bit crazy to me. But Chepe Mariscal has looked good in his last few fights, so I'm going to trust him to win this one. Moving up to heavyweight, Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. I'm going with Mario Pinto. He looked good on the Contender Series. He looked really good on the feet. I think he's actually a pretty technical striker. And Austin Lane, although he's a big kind of athletic guy, I don't see anything that great from him as a fighter. He got a win against Robeles de Spain by just kind of laying on top of him and shooting takedowns. I don't think he'll be able to do that here. I think Pinto's a little bit more seasoned against grappling. He's much younger in his career, so he'll be making improvements to things like that rather rapidly, where a guy who's like 38, like Robeles de Spain, probably won't. Austin Lane, man, I mean, he's 37. His striking's pretty bad. He backs up. He doesn't like being touched. I think Mario Pinto is just going to knock him out, quite frankly. I haven't loved a lot of Lane's performances. I losing to a Tafa brother and also having lost to Greg Hardy professionally as a fighter. I just can't pick you to win ever. If I'm being honest, I'm going with Mario Pinto here. I think he's a very skilled striker. He looked good on the feet against a decent fighter on the Contender Series, especially decent for heavyweight standards. I think he can get a win here. I think he's a better striker. I think he'll find the shot on Austin Lane. I think we'll get a KO. in like rounds 1 or 2. Mario Pinto. And also one thing I want to mention about Mario Pinto is he can go all 3 rounds. Like he's got decision wins. You know what I mean? Like he's got a couple of decision wins, which I think is good. 5 5-minute rounds, I think is good. I think it's good for a guy in heavyweight to have fights like that. So I think he can win this fight either way. Sucks Ala Nascimento doesn't have an opponent. I love watching this guy fight. I think he's really good. Moving up to welterweight. Oof. Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. Guys, I'm kind of torn on this one. This line is way fucking off, I think, in my opinion. I think Sam Patterson is being very underrated here. I think Vegas is in love with Danny Barlow. And I like Danny Barlow. I think he's good. I think he's a great striker. I think he's got a great left hand. But Sam Patterson's good, man. He's got good grappling. He's got really good jiu-jitsu. His striking's all right. He could be problems for Danny Barlow. I am picking Danny Barlow because I think he can find the left hand. And Sam Patterson's a guy who's usually used to being the bigger, rangier guy here. He's not going to be that in this fight, which I think could hurt him a little bit. And kind of expose some of his striking defense deficiencies. I think Danny Barlow with a straight left hand could probably find the chin of Sam Patterson. Now, I worry about Danny Barlow's grappling defense. That is kind of my big question mark because Sam Patterson is quite good in the grappling. And he can mix it up very well. He's done that in his last 2 fights. Subbed up Johan Lenise very easily, and then subbed up Kiefer Crosby. But Kiefer Crosby's fucking terrible. So I don't read into that too much. Danny Barlow's definitely the best fighter he's fought. But Sam Patterson's looked good at welterweight, man. He has looked good. So I just think this line should be a little bit closer. I think Danny Barlow should be closer to like maybe minus 200 tops over Sam Patterson. But I do think he finds the left hand. I think he is the much sharper striker. He's very powerful. He's very fast. And he's got really good range. He's got good distance management. I believe he hurt his hand in his last fight. That's why his last fight was kind of meh. I think he wins this fight. I think he finds the chin of Sam Patterson. If a guy who's like 5'2", like Yanal Ashmuz, can find the chin of Sam Patterson, I think Danny Barlow can as well. And I think Danny Barlow's ability to maintain range and circle off the cage, I think it'll make it harder for Sam Patterson to get takedowns going. I think Sam Patterson in this matchup needs to close distance, maybe get in the clinch, get him up against the cage, maybe go for a trip, get a takedown that way, then work his submission game. Could win. It is feasible. I like Sam Patterson as a plus 250 underdog here, to be honest. From a betting perspective, I think there's value on that, but I don't give betting advice. Remember that. Don't put your money on my picks. I don't like when people do that because it makes me feel bad if I go too good. But I'll go with Danny Barlow. I think he can find the chin here and hurt Sam Patterson. I don't know if he puts him out because Sam Patterson's looked good at 170. I think I'm going to go with the Danny Barlow decision here. I think this fight will be closer than the line indicates. I'm going to say like a 29-28. I think Sam Patterson's going to have a round of success in this matchup, I think, for sure. But I'm going to trust Danny Barlow here. He's looked good against some decent opponents. I think he has a substantial striking advantage here. Moving up to our main card, Haider Emil versus William Gomis. Guys, I'm going with William Gomis. I have never, ever thought Haider Emil was very good. I've just never been impressed. His last fight against Jiang Li, I don't know if Haider Emil has the ability to like transmit Down syndrome through eye contact to the guy he's fighting. Because genuinely, if you were to make that matchup with Haider Emil and Jiang Li 10 times, I would say Jiang Li would probably win like 7 out of 10 times. Like he is light years better than this guy as a fighter, but for some reason he just decided to windmill hooks in the pocket with a guy whose only skill is windmilling hooks in the pocket. I don't fucking know. William Gomis, very rangy kickboxer. A very technical guy. Circles out very well against pressure fighters. Like, William Gomis just beat Joe Anderson Brito. Whether you think he won the decision or not, he looked good against Joe Anderson Brito. Joe Anderson Brito is light years better than Haider Emil, in my opinion. I think this is a step down in competition for William Gomis. I think you can keep the distance on Haider Emil, frustrate Haider Emil, keep him on the end of his punches. I don't think Haider Emil can have any grappling success. And unless William Gomis starts windmilling hooks in the pocket, I really don't see a way Haider Emil catches him. I don't. If he does, I'll be very impressed. I don't think William Gomis is like My problem with Gomez is sometimes I feel like his output is too low, and a guy like Hyder Emil who just throws shit to throw shit could maybe sway judges, even though he's just whiffing a lot of shots, but he's putting a lot out there to be scored. That's kind of my concern. I don't think Hyder Emil can get the grappling going. If Joe Anderson Brito can't get any grappling going, I don't really think Hyder Emil is going to be able to. I think Joe Anderson Brito is way more physical and stronger than a Hyder Emil. Um, he's probably just as dangerous on the feet, if not more. And William Gomez was able to keep him at bay for a lot of that fight, to be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna go with William Gomez here, man. I haven't been super impressed with him, but like when you look at his resume, I just can't ignore that win against Joe Anderson Brito. And I mean, he's got other decent wins too. You know, he beat Gamori. I don't think Gamori's that good, but he did get a TKO finish over Gamori, which is, you know, it's fine. Has a win over Francis Marshall, which I think is good. I think Francis Marshall's pretty good. Split decision, but I think Marshall's a pretty good fighter. Beat Jarno Aarons in his UFC debut. Jarno Aarons, man, he's good on the feet. That's his one attribute, is that he is a good kickboxer, and he is a good kickboxer. So getting a unanimous decision on the feet over him, I think is pretty good. And he has a win over Joe Anderson Brito in the UFC. I mean, if we look at Brito, I mean, dude, Brito's a fucking monster. Jack Shore, Jonathan Pierce, Weston Wilson, nobody cares. Lucas Alexander, you know what I mean? Andre Fili, Diego Lopez, Chepe Mariscal. Like, this guy's a fucking demon. I gotta go with William Gomez here. I think he's gonna win a decision over Hyder Emil. Moving up to lightweight, Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Ribovic. Guys, I'm going with Esteban Ribovic, but I want this to be noted. I think this line is way off, man. This is going to be a kickboxing matchup. Largely a boxing matchup, most likely. And Nasrat Haqparast is live in a fight where it's just basically boxing. Esteban Ribovic has looked great lately, though. Good win over Daniel Zellhuber. Beautiful knockout over Terrence McKinney. And Haqparast has kind of been meh in some of his fights lately. He hasn't looked the world's best. I believe he's coming off of this win over Jared Gordon, which is somebody who picked Nasrat. I can confidently say he did not win this fight. Beat Jamie Malarkey. You know, he did beat him very easily, though. Jamie Malarkey. You know, he beat him easier than Mauricio Hoofy did. You know what I mean? To be honest. I think Nasrat's live to look pretty good in this fight, but I think Esteban Ribovic right now is just he's riding insane momentum, dude. And this guy is very powerful. He's very physical, and man, he's got that dog in him. And we saw it in the Jared Gordon fight. Haqparast kind of wilted a little bit in that fight. Those last couple of rounds, man, he was not looking too good. Outside of the first round, like I remember the first round, Haqparast looking really good, and then just falling off a cliff. And I feel like Ribovic is a guy who he just kind of stays there, man. He just kind of stays there throwing hard, powerful shots nonstop all 3 rounds. I mean, there was no quitting the guy against Zellhuber, who's way bigger and way more rangier than Haqparast. I'm going to go with Ribovic here. I think this line should be closer. I think this is actually going to be a pretty competitive fight. But I'm going to pick Ribovic by decision. I think maybe Haqparast gets the better of him in round 1, but I think Ribovic is going to kind of outdog him in the later 2 rounds. It's kind of how I see this going. I'm going to go with Esteban Ribovic here. I think it's going to be a banger, too. And like a 29-28 decision. I think this should be a sick fight. Moving up to middleweight, Cody Brundage. Our co-main event, by the way. Co-main event. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. What the fuck are we doing? Co-main event, guys. I'm about to say something crazy. I'm going with Cody Brundage as an underdog. I'm going with Cody Brundage, dude. I know that sounds crazy because it is crazy picking Cody Brundage to win a fight. But Julian Marquez sucks balls. He's bad. Cody Brundage is bad too. But when I look at the recent fights, right? Julian Marquez, I want this to be noted. He has not won a fight since 2021 against Sam Alvey. And the fight before that, he beat Maki Pitolo. Like, when I say that these wins suck, these wins suck. Darren Stewart sub's not bad. Phil Hawes, KO. Awesome, dude. join every person to ever live. And then he's been KO'd brutally in his last 3 fights. I don't love it. You know. Cody Brundage, on the other hand, he has had one of the wackiest careers I've ever seen in a fighter. Um, no contest against Razak Al Hassan. Because Al Hassan kept hitting him in the fucking back of the head over and over again. Had a moment against Bo Nickel, took him into the second round. I guess that's good. KO'd Zachary Reese with a fucking slam while he was stuck in a triangle. Got a DQ win over Jacob Malkoun. And Jacob Malkoun was beating the shit out of him. Lost a short notice fight to Cedric Dumas, which I don't love. Lost to Rodolfo Vieira. Lost to Miguel Oleksiejczuk by KO. But, oh my god, he lost to Nick Maximov. Am I going to pick this dude to win? My thing is, I've seen moments from Cody Brundage where he's like, I'm like, oh, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that was cool. He threw Bo Nickel off of him. Slam KO'd Zachary Reese. He had Rodolfo Vieira basically KO'd on the feet. He damn near knocked him out flatline. Flatline KO'd Treason Gore, who's good. Like, Treason Gore is a better win than fucking Sam Alvey and Maki Pitolo. I'll tell you that for free. You know, Sabin Dasha, Louis Gamboa. You know, Louis Gamboa isn't a great fighter, but he's very powerful, very physical, very strong guy. You know, I don't know. This fight's so ugly, dude. This fight's so ugly. I'm just going to go with Cody Brundage. Maybe he finds the chin of a Julian Marquez. Both of these guys have no fight IQ. Both of these guys are pretty glass-chinned. I don't fucking know. Do you really want me to get down to a 15-minute analytical breakdown for Cody Brundage and Julian Marquez? I'm going with Cody Brundage as an underdog. I don't know. Fuck it. Suck my balls. In closing out the fight with our main event, Manel Kape taking on Asu Almabayev. Sick fight. I'm bummed it wasn't the Brandon Royval fight. That fight would have been so sick. Asu Almabayev taking this fight on relatively short notice. Pretty big underdog, Asu Almabayev. I think there's some value there, but I am going to go with Manel Kape, and I'm going to explain why. Asu Almabayev, I think he's good. But he hasn't had a performance where I'm like, this guy is sick. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's really something special. You know? In the UFC, he subbed Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne sucks. Unanimous decision over CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara is a bottom feeder of this division. This guy sucks. This guy sucks. Jose Johnson, decision. Jose Johnson is ass too. Dude just got subbed up by Felipe Boons, dude. Not a great loss. And not a great win to have. Mateus Nicolau, he beat Nicolau. If Nicolau had the chin of like a normal person, he would have lost this fight to Nicolau. Straight up. If he didn't get that knockdown against Mateus Nicolau, he would have been a fry cook. Because he was not able to get takedowns on Nicolau at all. He was not able to do it. He knocked him down in the third round and then was able to control him for that round. But outside of that, he was not able to get up to his feet. You know? I just haven't been super impressed with him against a higher level of competition. And my problem with him against Manel Kape is, whereas Nicolau's a guy who can make it close on the feet because he's very patient and doesn't throw very much. Manel Kape literally put on like a generational performance in his last fight on the feet against, oh my god, I forget his name. Oh my god. Bruno Silva. Holy shit, I'm retarded. He looked great there, and Manel Kape is used to guys trying to take him down. Every guy he fights pretty much wants to take him down because he is very, very good on the feet. He's got good power. He's very fast. His timing's very good. And he has the ability. You saw it in that, I forgot his fucking name again, Bruno Silva fight, where he switched on and he was just in his flow. And I think he can find that against Almabayev. And I think Almabayev might be hard-pressed to get these takedowns, you know what I mean? Because Manel Kape, if we look at his fights in the UFC, I mean, all of these guys are fucking decent grapplers. Like, Pantoja in his debut takes him to a decision. Close fight with Nicolau, split decision loss. But he gives a tough fight to everybody just because his style is so strange. KO Zode Osborne easy. KO Zalgas Zumagulov. Not a lot of people would KO Zumagulov. Beats David Dvorak easily in a decision. Sketchy fight with Felipe Dos Santos, but he took this fight on short notice against a very dangerous, athletic striker. So can't read into that too much. Got injured in this fight against Almabayev, which was honestly kind of a close fight. And I'm trying to remember, did Almabayev have any grappling success against him at all? 3 for 8 on takedowns with 2 minutes of control time. Yeah, not really, man. Nothing too great. Is Almabayev better than like a Makayev in the grappling? Maybe in the top control. But then again, this is a Manel Kape who got injured in this fight. You know, dude, Almabayev on the feet, I think, is ass. Like, he has no process on the feet. Like, he just kind of puts shit out there to put shit out there. And I feel like he can be countered. And you're giving Manel Kape 5 rounds to work. Thing is, it's like, I don't think Almabayev finishes a Manel Kape. I don't think he controls him for like long enough in a 5-round fight to like win off of control time. I really don't see it, dude. Like, he couldn't take down Nicolau. Manel Kape was stuffing takedowns from Makayev. Hold on. There's something else I need to check. Just refreshing my memory here, live and in color. I just want to check something. Uh, 2 for 9 on takedowns. Nicolau's got decent grappling. I don't remember. I don't think Pantoja shot, did he? He went 0 for 1. Manel Kape had 2 takedowns on Pantoja. I just, like, Manel Kape in the UFC, he's had all these guys who want to grapple him. So I don't think this is a different style for him. I think he should be expecting, you know, a grappling heavy pressure fighter in Almabayev. I think he's ready for it. I think he's got the takedown defense to at least make Almabayev work. And on the feet, I just don't see Almabayev having anything from Manel Kape. Manel Kape's also very durable. I think he's light years better on the feet. I think he's way faster on the feet. I think he's more powerful on the feet. And I think I don't see Almabayev finishing him either. I don't see a way Almabayev finishes him. I don't think he submits him. I don't. Like, if he's not finishing CJ fucking Vergara or Jose Johnson, I don't think he's finishing Manel Kape. You know, hot take. Maybe he does and I look like an idiot, but I just don't see it right now. But, you know, hindsight's 2020. You know what I mean? But I'm going to go with Manel Kape here. I think he's going to put on a shutout against Almabayev. I think he's probably going to win a decision here. I'm going to say like a 48-47 decision here from Manel Kape. I think Almabayev's a pretty durable, tough guy. He's got good cardio. I think he can hang tough for 5 rounds, but I just think on the feet he'll be a lost dog. I think Manel Kape can stop a couple of these takedowns and land good shots on the feet and bank himself some rounds here. Yeah, I'm going to go with Manel Kape. I think he's going to get himself a decision here. But yeah, that's it for this Fight Night card, fellas. If you're new, subscribe. Banger card next weekend. Hopefully the momentum keeps going. We've had 3 great back-to-back weeks. Hopefully we have a 4th. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much. See ya.